High on the shoulder of Orion burns a star that is already dying. It is one of the brightest points in the winter sky, a deep ember red, and it is living out the final, violent chapter of a massive star's life. Its name is Betelgeuse. Find Orion on a clear night, the three stars of his belt, and look up to the bright reddish point marking his right shoulder. That is Betelgeuse, and unlike its blue-white neighbors, its color is a warning. It tells us this star is cool, swollen, and near the end. Betelgeuse lies roughly 640 light-years from Earth, though even that number carries real uncertainty. The light striking your eye tonight left the star around the 14th century. We are not seeing Betelgeuse as it is. We are seeing a ghost of how it was. Betelgeuse is a red supergiant, one of the largest stars visible to the naked eye. Its diameter is close to 1,000 times that of our Sun. If our Sun were a cherry, Betelgeuse would be a sphere wider than a football stadium, a truly monstrous thing. Place Betelgeuse where our Sun sits, and its surface would swallow Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars whole. Its edge would reach out past the asteroids, perhaps as far as the orbit of Jupiter. Everything we call home would lie deep inside the star. That deep red color is the clue to everything. Betelgeuse has swelled so enormously that its surface has cooled to around 3,000 degrees Celsius, about 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, far cooler than our Sun. A cool, distended surface glows red, like dying embers in a fading fire. Do not let the cool surface fool you. Betelgeuse is so vast that it pours out more than 100,000 times the light of our Sun. If it sat where our Sun does, its sheer radiance would scorch the Earth to a cinder long before its final act. Betelgeuse is young, only 8 to 10 million years old, yet it is already near death. Massive stars live fast and die young. Our Sun will burn steadily for 10 billion years. A star like Betelgeuse spends its enormous fuel in a cosmic instant and pays for it. For most of its life, a star fuses hydrogen into helium in its core, and that outward pressure holds it up against gravity. Betelgeuse has already burned through its core hydrogen. Now it fuses heavier and heavier elements, each stage faster and more desperate than the last. Deep inside, Betelgeuse is building itself in layers like an onion. Hydrogen burns in the outer shell, helium below it, then carbon, neon, oxygen, and silicon, each in its own searing layer. At the very center, a growing core of iron is forming, and iron is the end of the road. Fusing light elements releases energy and supports the star. But iron is different. Fusing iron consumes energy instead of giving it. The moment the core becomes iron, the fire that held the star up for millions of years simply stops. There is nothing left to resist gravity. In late 2019, astronomers noticed something alarming. Betelgeuse was fading. Over a few months it lost more than half its brightness, dropping to the dimmest seen in over a century. To many watching, it looked as though the star might be about to explode. The world watched and waited, but Betelgeuse did not explode. The fading, we now believe, came from the star itself. It belched out an enormous cloud of gas that cooled into dust, a vast dark veil drifting in front of the surface, dimming the light we received. Telescopes can actually resolve the disk of Betelgeuse, a rare thing for any star beyond the Sun. They reveal a surface that is not smooth but boiling, covered in titanic convection cells, bubbles of hot gas larger than the entire orbit of the Earth, rising, bursting, and sinking again. Betelgeuse is also unraveling. It sheds material from its surface at a furious rate, flinging roughly 1 Earth mass of gas into space every few years. Around the star drifts a sprawling, complex shroud of its own cast-off matter, a sign of a star coming apart. So when will it happen? The honest answer is that Betelgeuse will explode sometime in the next 100,000 years, on the scale of a human life that feels like never. On the scale of the universe, it is the very next heartbeat. The star is poised on the edge. It could come tomorrow night. It could come 1,000 generations from now. Because the light takes 6 centuries to reach us, the explosion could already have happened. the blast already racing across the dark toward Earth, and we would have no way yet to know. When the iron core finally fails, the collapse is almost unimaginably fast. A core larger than the Earth crushes down to a ball the size of a city in less than a second, falling inward at nearly a quarter of the speed of light. Then it slams to a halt. The infalling matter strikes the ultradense core and rebounds, launching a shockwave outward. A flood of ghostly particles called neutrinos pours out, dumping titanic energy into the star. The outer layers are blasted apart. In that instant, Betelgeuse becomes a supernova. From Earth, the show would be staggering. Betelgeuse would flare up until it shone as bright as a piece of the moon, but concentrated into a single point. It would be visible in broad daylight, a fierce new star burning in the sky for weeks on end. At night it would be breathtaking, bright enough to read by, casting sharp shadows across the ground. For 3 or 4 months it would dominate the heavens. Then slowly, over a year or more, it would fade, until at last Orion's shoulder went dark forever. Should we be afraid? Not at all. At 640 light-years, Betelgeuse is far too distant to harm us. A supernova would need to be within roughly 50 light-years to threaten our atmosphere. Betelgeuse is more than 10 times safely beyond that line. There is something humbling in all of this. The Betelgeuse you see is 600 years out of date. Everything happening at the star right now, the boiling, the shedding, perhaps the final collapse itself, is news that simply has not reached us yet. It is entirely possible that Betelgeuse no longer exists as we know it. The star may have died centuries ago, its light from that final calm still arriving, while the flash of its death races silently behind it, drawing closer with every passing night. After the blast clears, something strange will remain at the center. The crushed core will survive as a neutron star, a city-sized sphere so dense that a sugar cube of it would weigh as much as a mountain, spinning where a giant once stood. The shredded outer layers will keep expanding for thousands of years, glowing as a vast, intricate cloud of gas, a fresh nebula lit from within. Future stargazers, if any remain, will see a delicate glowing ring where the bright red shoulder of Orion used to be, and Orion himself will be changed. One of the most recognizable patterns in the human sky, drawn and named by every culture for thousands of years, will lose its bright red shoulder. The hunter we have always known will never look quite the same again. There is a gift in this destruction. The explosion forges and scatters heavy elements, oxygen, carbon, silicon, iron, flinging them across space. These atoms seed new stars, new planets, and one day new life. The calcium in your bones was made in stars that died exactly like this. A nearby supernova is one of the rarest spectacles the cosmos offers. The last one easily seen from Earth blazed in 1604, before the telescope. If Betelgeuse goes in our lifetime, we will witness, with modern eyes, a massive star tear itself apart. So look up tonight, find Orion, and rest your eyes on that warm red point. It is a doomed giant, ancient and unraveling, holding itself together against gravity for just a little longer. Whether tonight or in 100,000 years, Betelgeuse is waiting to light the sky one final time.